Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really immersing ourselves in the career of, well, one of the most compelling actors out there today, Michael Corbett Shannon.
Oh, yeah. Compelling is definitely the word.
Right. I mean, if you've seen him on screen, you know that whatever scene he walks into, it's like the emotional temperature just shoots up
Yeah.
instantly.
He's absolutely a force multiplier in any film he's in. And he's that rare kind of talent, isn't he? Started out as this quintessential character actor,
Yeah.
really honed in that tough Chicago theater environment.
Yeah, really gritty.
And he somehow leveraged that intensity to become, well, both this critical powerhouse and a reliable blockbuster villain. It's quite the balancing act.
It really is. His career, it's just this fascinating case study in artistic duality, successfully balancing these profoundly disturbed, often morally complex roles
Right.
with huge mainstream stuff like, comic book movies.
Yeah, it's amazing he pulls it off so consistently.
So we've got a pretty comprehensive stack of sources today. We're tracing his career across, 3 decades now?
At least, yeah.
And our mission here for this deep dive is really to get beyond just listing the credits. We want to pull out the key turning points, maybe analyze some surprising facets.
Like his background.
Exactly. From those unusual Kentucky and Chicago roots to his whole other life as a musician. And just trying to understand the strategy behind that relentless genre-hopping intensity he has.
And I think the big takeaway, the reason we're focusing on him is really his mastery across all the acting mediums. I mean, you're talking about someone with 2 Academy Award nominations.
For Revolutionary Road and Nocturnal Animals, right?
Yeah. And nominations for a Golden Globe, and importantly, major recognition from the stage world, too, with a Tony nomination.
He's this critical darling who's somehow proven that, intensity and complexity, they don't have to be stuck in the art house?
Not at all. He brings it to the multiplex, too.
Okay, so to really understand that unique flavor of Michael Shannon's intensity, we kind of have to look right back at his beginnings. Born August 7, 1974, Lexington, Kentucky. But his childhood, it wasn't straightforward. It seems defined by what our sources call a split identity.
Yeah, and that seems pretty foundational, doesn't it? To his ability to play characters who often seem caught between 2 worlds or 2 states of mind.
How so? What was the split?
Well, that geographical split is key. His parents divorced, and he ended up alternating his life. He lived partly with his mother, Geraldine Heim, who was a lawyer in Lexington, and partly with his father, Donald Sutherland Shannon, an accounting professor, up in Chicago.
Wow, okay, Lexington and Chicago. Those are
different. Totally different. So you're grounding a young person in 2 wildly distinct cultural hubs, right? The South and the Midwest. It probably gave him this natural ability, maybe, to shift between different accents, different worldviews.
Which definitely pays off later.
Oh, for sure. When he's playing everyone from, a prohibition agent to some rural guy building a shelter, that range feels earned.
And stepping completely away from acting for just a second, one of the most kind of striking details in the sources is about his family background. His paternal grandfather was a noted entomologist, Raymond Corbett Shannon.
Get out! An entomologist! Studying insects.
Yeah. It's this completely surprising lineage, right? It suggests this connection to, scientific rigor, meticulous observation.
Which seems totally at odds with the image of this raw, emotional actor.
Right.
But, if you really watch his best performances, there's often this quiet, precise intelligence kind of bubbling beneath the surface of all the disturbance.
Oh, true.
He brings this really detailed focus to his craft, which maybe isn't that surprising when you think about it. Grandfather studying insects in fine detail, father teaching accounting.
Ah, okay. There's a thread there.
Yeah, maybe a sort of pedigree of structure and analysis, even if his own life path completely rejected the formal academic structure.
Well, speaking of rejecting structure, let's get into his education, because there was, anything but conventional.
Definitely not a straight line.
He bounced around a bit, right?
Yeah.
New Trier Township High School in Illinois for a couple of years. Then down to Henry Clay High School in Lexington for his junior year.
Okay.
And then back up to Evanston Township High School in Chicago.
Right. And that's where the formal education path just stops pretty abruptly.
Dropped out.
Yeah, after only 1 semester at Evanston. But, the seeds for his future were already being sown elsewhere.
Like where?
Well, back when he was in Lexington, he was involved in the Lexington Children's Theater summer camp. So clearly finding his calling, just not in a classroom.
Makes sense. And he also found another artistic outlet pretty early on, one involving loud noises.
Ah, the music side.
Yeah. While he was in Lexington, he played bass in his first band. Get this name. The Jehovah's Suspects.
Ha! That's quite a name.
Isn't it? But it highlights that dual track right from the start, doesn't it? Theater and music.
Absolutely. And that quick jump from high school dropout to basically professional actor shows this real urgency. Like, he didn't have patience for the traditional route.
No Juilliard for him.
Nope. Straight to work. And his first screen role, it was surprisingly high profile for a debut, wasn't it?
The music video.
Yeah, the main character in that 1992 music video for Every Mother's Nightmare, the song House of Pain.
Playing a troubled runaway teenager. Setting a theme early, maybe?
Perhaps, but the enduring professional steps were taken almost right away on the stage.
Okay, so Chicago, the sources really focus on his foundational work there, specifically mentioning he helped found a Red Orchid Theater.
Right, and this is crucial context for you listening. Chicago theater, especially the scene that birthed companies like Steppenwolf, it's known for being very physical, very gritty, ensemble-driven. It's often called the Chicago School of Acting.
And a Red Orchid fits that mold.
Totally.
Yeah.
By co-founding it, Shannon wasn't just, getting acting jobs. He was helping build a laboratory, a place for raw, committed, often really dark performance styles, kind of without the safety net you might get in more mainstream commercial theater.
But he didn't stay just in that micro-budget world, did he?
No, he branched out pretty quickly, built connections with the more established prestigious groups, too. Steppenwolf Theater Company, Northlight Theater.
So he was getting noticed.
Definitely. And this theater-first approach, especially in a city that really values ensemble work, that's the engine, I think. That's what generates that explosive, sometimes unpredictable energy he brings to the screen later.
Yeah, you really can't fake that kind of stage training, can you?
Not at that level, no. So, okay, if Chicago theater was the foundation, then the early collaborations he formed there, those were kind of the blueprint for his specific artistic voice.
Right.
And you really can't talk about this phase without talking about Tracy Letts.
The playwright and actor, also from Steppenwolf.
Exactly, a fellow ensemble member. Their partnership is incredibly deep, really symbiotic. Shannon became almost the key interpreter for some of Letts' most psychologically demanding characters.
He wasn't just saying the lines, he was originating the roles.
He was, helping define their shape right there on stage. The most iconic example has to be the character Peter Evans in The Play Bug.
Okay, Bug, I know the film.
Right, but Shannon originated that role on stage way back in 1996. Peter, this delusional, paranoid Gulf War vet hiding out in a motel.
Intense doesn't even cover it.
Not even close. And to originate a character that complex, that disturbed, and then a decade later, star in the 2006 film adaptation, it means he essentially owned that character. He defined Peter Evans for a whole generation.
Wow. And there were others with Letts, too.
Oh, yeah. He also starred in another key Letts play, Killer Joe, originating the role of Chris Smith.
Another walk in the park, I assume.
Huh. Hardly. Again, a character just steeped in moral ambiguity, violence, intense, dangerous situations. These roles weren't just like stepping stones for him.
They were defining his brand.
Absolutely. They established him professionally as this actor who could handle extreme psychological tension just unflinchingly.
Okay, so this relentless stage work is building his reputation. How did that start translating to film? Because the early filmography, it's kind of weird, right?
Delightfully strange, yeah. His very first film role, the 1993 debut, it's in Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day? Seriously, who was he?
He played the wedding groom, Fred.
Fred the groom. The guy getting married at the reception Bill Murray keeps crashing.
That's the one. It's this tiny, sweet, completely unintense role. You barely even notice him.
It's almost funny thinking back, like picturing a director telling the future General Zod to just look, happy and non-threatening.
Right. It just shows that early careers are often about taking the opportunity that's there, not necessarily about perfect artistic consistency.
Sure.
But even in the early 2000s, while his stage work was really hitting its stride, he was already showing this huge range in film genres. Well, he was Elton Goosewood in the massive budget Pearl Harbor in 2001.
Okay.
Then he's Greg Buell, the kind of scummy boyfriend, in 8 Mile in 2002.
Okay. With Eminem.
Yep. And then in a choice that must have been purely for, survival, or maybe just curiosity, he plays Frankie Lombardo, a mobster, in the kids' comedy Kangaroo Jack in 2003.
Frankie Lombardo in Kangaroo Jack. Wow.
Frankie Lombardo. How does an actor who spent a decade plumbing psychological trauma in Chicago suddenly end up playing a mobster opposite a CGI kangaroo?
That's range, I guess? Or just needing the work?
Probably a bit of both, but also maybe a profound lack of snobbery. He showed he was willing to go anywhere.
Yeah.
From the epic war movie to the totally absurd comedy.
Any other weird early ones?
There's a real deep-cut role around that time, too, playing this eccentric hippie named Larry Osterberg in a film called Grand Theft Parsons.
Okay, never heard of that one.
It's about Graham Parsons' stolen coffin. But the point is, the through line in these early roles isn't really the genre. It's his commitment to making that specific character feel real, no matter how kind of ridiculous the movie around him might be.
But his acclaim, the early buzz, that stayed rooted in the darker stuff, right? The roles that mirrored his stage work.
Definitely. After the Bug film adaptation came out in 2006, he kind of doubled down on those dark characters. He was in Let's Go to Prison that same year, playing Leonard, who's the deeply unsettling leader of a prison white supremacist group.
Yikes.
Yeah. So this commitment to playing the repulsive, the disturbed, the dangerous, it quickly cemented his unique reputation in film.
And his theater work was still giving him cred with the acting elite.
Absolutely crucial validation. In 2008, he got to work with the late, great Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, wow.
Hoffman directed him in an off-Broadway production of a Stephen Adly Gurgis play called The Little Flower of East Orange.
To be directed by Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Exactly. I mean, Hoffman basically defined modern screen intensity and that stage-to-screen transition. For Hoffman to cast him, it shows the level of respect Shannon had already earned from his peers purely based on that theater work.
Okay, so if the Tracy Letts collaboration kind of established the type of intense psychological character Michael Shannon could absolutely nail, then the Jeff Nichols partnership seems like it launched that character type into the, cinematic mainstream. It really established him as this global critical force.
Yeah, that relationship is incredibly important. It runs really deep.
It feels unique in modern film.
It really is. The key phrase, which our sources keep emphasizing, is that it's an unbroken collaboration. Michael Shannon has appeared in every single one of director Jeff Nichols' feature films to date.
Every single one. That's amazing.
It speaks volumes, right? Or about the massive mutual trust between them, and probably a shared understanding of a specific kind of American story.
What kind of story is that?
Often rural, often focused on men who are struggling with things like duty, vulnerability, complex moral choices. Nichols' films have this very particular feel.
And it started with?
Shotgun stories. Back in 2007, Shannon played son Hayes, the eldest brother who gets caught up in this family feud.
And people noticed him in that.
Oh yeah, he got immediate praise for that performance. It really set the tone for their work together, usually grounded, often quiet on the surface, but always with this deep psychological undercurrent.
And then the list just kept going.
It's staggering. Take Shelter in 2011, which we'll definitely come back to, Mud in 2012, then Midnight Special and Loving Both in 2016. And most recently, the one everyone's talking about, The Bike Riders in 2023.
It's like these Nichols films gave him this consistent artistic home base.
Exactly. A place where he could consistently explore these really fragile, earnest, often struggling masculine characters, kind of outside the pressures of the big Hollywood system.
But while those Nichols films were cementing his indie cred, Hollywood, like the big awards bodies, they couldn't ignore him anymore after Revolutionary Road, right? 2008.
That was the moment, yeah. Directed by Sam Mendes, high-profile romantic drama, putting him right alongside Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. Huge visibility.
And his role? It wasn't huge in terms of screen time, was that?
No, relatively limited, but absolutely devastating. He played John Givings Jr., described as the clinically insane son of Kathy Bates' character.
Right.
And his unique intensity was just deployed with surgical precision. He basically acts as the film's uncomfortable truth teller. He's the only one who can just cut through all the pretensions and the denial of the main couple's toxic relationship.
Because he's outside the norms of sanity himself.
Exactly. He has nothing left to lose, socially speaking, and the critics absolutely seized on it.
Universal acclaim, wasn't it?
Pretty much. Earned him his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. He also won the Satellite Award for Best Supporting Actor. That was really the moment, his theater background, that ability to deliver intense psychological shock in these short, powerful bursts that broke through to the absolute mainstream.
So that Oscar nomination must have given him some serious leverage.
Oh, huge leverage. And it allowed him to take even bigger creative risks, especially back in the indie world. Case in point, the 2011 Jeff Nichols film, Take Shelter.
Okay, yeah, you mentioned we'd come back to that one. This wasn't just another collaboration.
No, this was a landmark for both of them, really, but especially for Shannon. He was the lead, Curtis LaForge, this guy who's being tormented by these apocalyptic visions.
Yeah.
Dreams, maybe, storms coming.
And he doesn't know if he's protecting his family or actually losing his mind.
Precisely. It's an incredibly demanding role. It required all that paranoia he'd perfected on stage, but mixed with this deep vulnerability, this love for his family.
And the reviews were incredible.
Stellar. And he won the Saturn Award for Best Actor for it.
The Saturn Award. Yeah, that's interesting. That's for genre films, right? Sci-fi, horror, fantasy.
Exactly. Which shows he was dominating on both fronts. He was getting love from the highbrow critical circuits and from the genre fans who appreciated that psychological thriller sci-fi element of Take Shelter.
He was proving his intensity worked everywhere.
Pretty much. And the awards recognition kept humming for these intense roles, often dealing with, systemic issues or corruption. In 2014, he gave this terrifying performance in 99 Homes.
Oh, right. The housing crisis film.
Yeah. He played Rick Carver, this absolutely ruthless Florida housing agent who specializes in foreclosures during the recession, profiting off misery, basically.
Carver's such a chilling character, operating this deep moral gray area, just thriving in the economic wreckage of other people's lives.
He's terrifyingly pragmatic about it all. And that performance, that intensity, earned him nominations for both the Golden Globes and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Supporting Actor.
So by the mid-2010s, he's undeniably in that top tier. The go-to guy for complex, often unsettling supporting roles in prestige films.
Yeah, reliably defining the landscape every award season.
But what's really kind of masterful about Shannon's career path, I think, is that just as he's gaining all this power in the indie and prestige film world, he consciously starts building this massive parallel profile in huge studio blockbusters and in premium television. He never just committed to one lane.
No, it's the ultimate dual career path.
Yeah.
He managed it incredibly well. If you look at the TV side first, the big one is obviously HBO's Boardwalk Empire.
Right, Agent Nelson Van Alden.
Federal Prohibition Agent Nelson Van Alden. Or later, George Mueller. He was on for 5 seasons, 35 episodes, from 2010 to 2014.
And Van Alden. I mean, talk about the ultimate distillation of the Shannon screen persona.
You could argue that, yeah, this rigidly moralistic agent, but he's battling these deep internal conflicts, lust, rage, that just drive him towards violence and, frankly, madness.
And the long-form nature of TV, premium cable especially, it allowed him to really explore that slow, agonizing breakdown of a character's psyche over years.
Absolutely. It wasn't just a 2-hour arc. And that work got recognized by his peers, too. He won 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards as part of that amazing ensemble cast.
So he proved that stage-trained intensity, it translates perfectly to the weekly grind of prestige TV drama.
No question. But then, almost simultaneously, he gets permanently cemented in global pop culture as this iconic comic book bad guy.
General Zod.
General Zod, the main antagonist in Zack Snyder's 2013 relaunch of the whole DC Extended Universe Man of Steel.
Was that seen as a risk at the time?
Yep.
For his serious actor reputation, taking on a role that big in commercial right after something like Take Shelter?
Oh, there was absolutely a risk, yeah. People might have worried he was selling out or that the nuance would get lost, but he navigated it perfectly. He just brought his inherent dramatic weight to Zod. He gave the character this tangible sense of desperation, this kind of tragic sense of duty to Krypton. It wasn't just mustache-twirling villainy.
You felt Zod's motivation, even if it was terrifying.
Exactly. It solidified his ability to bring real dramatic gravity even to the most fantastical settings. And of course, he reprised the role, didn't he? A decade later in The Flash in 2023.
He did. But the sources point out this really unique detail about Zod's appearance in another film, something that really speaks volumes about his status. Can you clarify his actual involvement in Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice?
Right. This is a fantastic deep dive nugget. So General Zod's body is a major plot point in that 2016 movie, right? Lex Luthor uses it. But Michael Shannon himself, his actual credited contribution was only for the corpse of Zod. He apparently didn't film any new scenes for it at all.
Oh, they just used his likeness. Or a dummy.
They used a physical replica, made from his body scans from Man of Steel. The point is, he filmed nothing new, and that's incredibly telling. It means his dramatic presence, his image as Zod, was so central to that whole DC narrative that the studio felt they needed to represent his character, even in death, relying purely on the visual and emotional impact he'd already established. That's a unique kind of screen power, you know? Your corpse is a plot point.
Wow, okay. So while he's navigating the multiverse, literally,
Yeah.
he's also securing his second Academy Award nomination back in the prestige world. 2016, Tom Ford's Nocturnal Animals.
Yeah, a masterclass performance in that one, as Detective Bobby Andes.
Describe that character.
Andes is this cancer-ridden, kind of morally exhausted West Texas lawman. He's investigating this horrific double homicide that's depicted in the story within the story.
And it's a very different kind of intensity from Zod or Van Alden.
Totally different. It's remarkably economical, quiet, precise, deeply melancholic. He just steals every scene he's in, often with minimal dialogue or effort. And bang, second Oscar nod for Best Supporting Actor.
Proving again he can maintain that critical dominance while also playing a massive comic book villain. Juggling worlds.
Perfectly. And he continued that prestigious ensemble work, too. He was Colonel Richard Strickland in Guillermo del Toro's The Shape of Water in 2017.
The villain in that.
The main human antagonist, yeah. Strickland embodies this grotesque, almost banal institutional violence and prejudice. He's the perfect foil for the film's kind of outsider romance and fantasy.
And that film, obviously huge success, won the Golden Lion at Venice, won Best Picture at the Oscars.
Right, anchoring him again to major historical cinematic success.
His genre bending just kept going smoothly after that.
Seemed like it. He blended seamlessly into the huge, star-studded cast of Rian Johnson's Knives Out in 2019, playing Walt Thromby, the disgruntled son.
Right.
More recently, he's been tackling some heavy, real-life drama on TV again, playing Gary Nosner, who was the head of the FBI's crisis negotiation unit during the Waco siege.
For the miniseries Waco.
Yeah, back in 2018, and then again in the 2023 follow-up, Waco, The Aftermath.
And there was a shift here, wasn't there, in his professional role beyond just acting?
Yes, that's important. For both of those Waco projects, Shannon also served as an executive producer.
So stepping behind the camera, in a sense.
Exactly. Showing a clear desire to maybe shape the narrative more directly, not just interpret a role. Taking on more control.
And did that lead anywhere else?
Yeah.
That producing interest?
Well, it certainly dovetailed with his next major TV role, which got him a Primetime Emmy nomination. Playing the country music legend George Jones in the Showtime limited series George and Tammy.
Opposite Jessica Chastain as Tammy Wynette.
Right. A massive undertaking, not just capturing the complex, volatile personality of George Jones, but also channeling a very specific musical icon.
Did he do his own singing?
He did. Which brings us neatly to the next, often kind of overlooked aspect of his whole artistic life.
Yeah, it's honestly stunning when you think about it. An actor this busy juggling blockbusters, prestige TV, Oscar campaigns, he has seemingly never abandoned the stage.
Never.
That commitment to live performance, which started right back with him co-founding a Red Orchid Theater, it seemed like it's the enduring, anchoring force in his whole career.
I think you're right. It suggests that maybe the film work is the high-profile outcome, but the stage is still the core practice, where he sharpens the tools.
So he made his Broadway debut relatively late, didn't he?
Yeah, in a play called Grace in 2012. But his most lauded Broadway role came a few years later, in 2016, playing James Tyrone Jr. in the revival of Eugene O'Neill's monster classic, Long Day's Journey into Night.
Wow. Long Day's Journey. That's like the Mount Everest of American plays.
It absolutely is. Requires total emotional demolition night after night. And his portrayal of Jimmy Tyrone, it earned him a Tony Award nomination. And he actually won the Drama Desk Award for Outstanding Featured Actor in a Play for it.
Okay, so that's a crucial point then. He had now achieved the highest level of formal nomination in pretty much every major medium. Film with the Oscars, television with the Emmys and SAG Awards, and now Broadway theater with a Tony Nom and Drama Desk win.
He hit the trifecta of prestige nominations, basically. Something only a handful of actors ever accomplish across all three. It speaks volumes about his versatility and commitment.
And this commitment to the stage, it didn't stop after the Tony nomination.
Not at all. In 2019, he was back on Broadway, starring opposite Audra McDonald in Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune.
Okay.
And then in 2023, he took on another monumental stage role. Estragon, opposite Paul Sparks as Vladimir, in a revival of Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot in Brooklyn.
Estragon. Wow. These aren't like easy commercial choices he's making on stage.
No way. These are deeply challenging, text-heavy, iconic roles that demand profound artistic rigor and stamina. He's not phoning it in when he goes back to theater.
And he stays loyal to his roots, too, to a Red Orchid.
Absolutely. He went back there to direct a production in 2018, a play called Traitor. So he's continually reinvesting his celebrity capital, his time, back into the very company he helped start decades ago. keeping that Chicago engine fueled.
That's really impressive.
And this dedication to raw, immediate performance, I think it flows directly into his entirely separate life as a working musician.
Right. The music, this guy who brings such singular, focused intensity to his acting roles. He also fronts an indie rock band.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. The band is called Corporal. He formed it way back in 2002 with Ray Rizzo and Rob Beitzel.
And what does he do in the band?
He sings, writes the lyrics, plays guitar. They put out a self-titled debut album back in 2010.
Is it just like a side hobby, a vanity project, or does he seem serious about it?
The sources suggest it's more than just a vanity project. He seems to use music as a pretty clear form of expression.
Yeah.
For instance, they released a song called Obama back in June 2012.
Obama.
Yeah, it was explicitly an endorsement for President Obama's re-election campaign that year, so it allows him this creative outlet for maybe political or social commentary that might not fit as neatly into his acting work.
Interesting. And his music world, does it connect back at all to his film collaborators?
It does, yeah, showing how kind of intertwined these different worlds can be for him. You know, the band Luther Rowe.
Sure, the all-country band.
Their frontman is Ben Nichols, and Ben Nichols' brother is...
Jeff Nichols, his frequent director.
Bingo. So Shannon actually contributed spoken word vocals to a Lucero song called Back to the Night, and he appeared in the extended music video, more like a short film really, for their song Long Way Back Home, Small World.
Definitely. But maybe the most surprising musical thing he's doing involves these tribute tours.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Since about 2014, he's been collaborating with another musician, Jason Narducy. You might know him from Bob Mould's band or Superchunk. And they've been touring, performing entire classic albums live from start to finish.
Which albums?
Well, most recently, for 2023 and into 2024, they toured playing REM's seminal debut album Murmur for its 40th anniversary.
Playing Murmur live. Wow.
Yeah. And apparently they have a US and UK tour planned for 2025 where they're going to perform REM's third album, Fables of the Reconstruction.
That's an extraordinary level of commitment. And diversification. Why would an actor, who can presumably command huge salaries on film sets, dedicate months to rehearsing and touring somebody else's rock album from 40 years ago?
It's a great question. I think maybe it goes back to that necessity of live performance we were talking about.
How so?
Well, film acting, it's very technical often. It's stop-start, repeatable takes, often quite isolated. Playing music live or doing a play live, it's immediate. It's raw. It requires constantly adapting to the moment, to the audience, to the other musicians.
So it's like exercising a different muscle.
Maybe it's the necessary outlet for that kind of chaotic, explosive energy he channels into his acting. Perhaps it's a way for him to maintain the spontaneity and authenticity that makes his characters feel so, well, dangerous and real sometimes. A different kind of intensity.
That makes sense. Keeping it fresh.
Exactly.
And just briefly on his personal life, the sources note he's married to actress Kate Arrington. They got married in late 2017.
Right, and they have two daughters, Sylvia, born in 2008, and Marion, born in 2014. And they live primarily in New York now.
And we should also mention his recent professional shift into directing film himself. His directorial debut was the 2023 film Eric LaRue.
Right, based on a play. Again, showing that expanding artistic ambition beyond just performing. So if we try to synthesize this whole really extraordinary career, what we see is an actor who has consciously, it seems, mastered three separate, highly demanding artistic disciplines: stage, screen, and now even directing and music.
Yeah, and his versatility isn't just theoretical, is it? It's been validated by the highest standards in each industry.
Absolutely. The formal recognition is staggering when you lay it all out.
Okay, let's recap. In film, 2 Academy Award nominations, right? Supporting actor for Revolutionary Road and Nocturnal Animals. A Golden Globe nomination for 99 Homes. And that Saturn Award win for Best Actor for Take Shelter.
Yep. Then, in television, the Primetime Emmy Award nomination for playing George Jones in George and Tammy, and those 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards he won as part of the Boardwalk Empire ensemble cast.
And then critically, on the stage, the Tony Award nomination for Long Day's Journey into Night, and the Drama Desk Award win for the same role.
He's effectively achieved that rare triple crown of prestige nominations across film, TV, and theater, something only a relative handful of actors ever manage. It's remarkable.
And he shows absolutely zero signs of slowing down, does he? Looking at his current and upcoming projects, he seems to be continuing to prioritize these complex, often weighty historical figures.
That seems to be the trend, yeah. He's currently filming a movie called Mr. Irrelevant, Playing the legendary, famously intense football coach Bill Parcells.
Ah, okay. Another figure known for volatile leadership. Fits the pattern.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then he has 2 major historical miniseries projects lined up. He's set to play President James A. Garfield in a series called Death by Lightning.
Based on the Candace Millard book.
Yeah.
About Garfield's assassination.
That's the one. And he's also taking on the role of Robert H. Jackson, the chief U.S. prosecutor, in a film about the Nuremberg trials, simply titled Nuremberg.
Wow. Garfield, Robert H. Jackson. These roles really confirm that trajectory, don't they? Tackling real-life complexity, deep historical weight. He's not shying away from challenging material.
Not in the slightest.
And finally, just to circle right back to his origins, his local legacy in Chicago remains incredibly strong. There was that really unique honor bestowed on him recently.
Oh, yeah, the Michael Shannon Day.
Exactly. The Chicago City Council actually passed a resolution designating August 7, 2023, which was his 49th birthday, as National Michael Shannon Day in the city of Chicago.
That's amazing. And it's such a powerful acknowledgement of his impact, isn't it? It recognizes not just his international fame, but the fact that he literally helped build a major artistic institution, a red orchid, in that city before he ever became General Zod or got Oscar nominations.
Yeah, it recognizes that his roots are truly foundational to everything that came later.
Hashtag tag outro.
Well, that brings us pretty much to the end of our deep dive today into the fascinating, often contradictory, always intense career of Michael Shannon.
He really is unmatched, I think, in his ability to thrive in such different worlds.
Totally. From that tiny, micro-budget Chicago theater stage where he started, all the way to the largest global blockbusters, often specializing in these characters who seem to exist right on that knife edge between sanity and, well, chaos.
Yeah. And what stands out most to me, thinking about the whole picture, is that duality. And maybe connecting that back to the bigger picture raises an interesting question for you, the listener, to ponder.
Okay.
We talked a lot about his frequent return to the stage, right? Going back to a Red Orchid, doing Broadway, doing Beckett, and his consistent musical projects, especially these recent REM tribute tours, playing entire albums live. What does this constant reliance on the immediate, the unrepeatable nature of live performance, what does that suggest about the absolute core of his craft, even as he's navigating these huge Hollywood productions?
That's a great question. My take. I think maybe the stage and the band. There is necessary artistic detox, or maybe like his artistic gym.
What do you mean?
Well, for an actor whose entire screen persona often relies on harnessing this really profound, sometimes disturbing intensity. Maybe the live audience, the instant feedback loop, the absolute necessity of total commitment in the moment which defines live performance, maybe that's the only way he can keep refueling, maintain the raw, visceral believability we see on screen.
So it keeps the commitment real? It stops the craft from just becoming like a purely technical exercise of hitting marks and saying lines for the camera?
Exactly. Maybe his dedication to the ephemeral, the thing that disappears once it's done live art, maybe that's the hidden anchor, the thing that allows him to successfully navigate the super high-stakes, highly technical world of Hollywood filmmaking without ever losing that grit, that danger that he first found back in Chicago.
That feels right. That dedication to the live moment keeps the screen performances grounded in something authentic.
Something profound to consider anyway, the next time you see that unmistakable, intense look in his eyes on screen.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.